Hey, everybody. We're giving you guys a little taste of the bonus episodes today. We hope you enjoy this bonus app. This is available, of course, on our Patreon. We'd really appreciate if you want a much better listening experience for the show, 200 plus episodes ad free. You get things early. It's $5 a month, very reasonable. You get a bonus episode every single week, and you get the juiciest juice. So we'd really appreciate if you support us. But in this case, I'm just giving you guys a whole boneyard episode. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and much love to all y'all. Hi, everybody. Welcome to AITA Pod Bonus. I'm Danny Vega, joined by the inimitable Shano D.
That's me.
Wow, that was beautiful, Shano.
Thank you.
I'm excited. I'm getting into the new format now, where we just get right into it, because you've been on fire for your situation selection. So, our second story, folks, AITA for refusing to buy the engagement ring back off of my ex. But first, people, AITA for judging someone whose sobriety,
quote unquote,
still involves drinking. I'm a 29-year-old woman who hasn't touched alcohol for 4 years. Unlike some other people who also don't drink, I occasionally have non-alcoholic drinks, mostly beer. To be transparent, there was one time I had up to 7 non-alcoholic beers at a wedding reception, but that was spread out over about 4 hours, and sometimes I'll take a sip of a mixed drink just out of curiosity. But aside from that, I'm absolutely committed to not drinking. I can honestly say I've never been even slightly intoxicated since I stopped drinking. I'm sharing this because I want to be upfront. Maybe some folks would argue I'm doing something similar to what I'm about to discuss. A friend of mine recently started sharing updates on Facebook about her sobriety journey. She posted a picture of a calendar with the day she decided to go sober marked. However, in the caption, she mentioned still having 1 or 2 glasses of wine on special occasions. Initially, I found it a bit confusing, but ultimately I decided to support her post because, it seemed like a positive step. Then months later, she posted about being quote unquote sober for a whole year. This time she elaborated in the caption saying she had only ever had 1 or 2 drinks at a time and hadn't experienced any hangovers. That extra detail felt like a way of saying, well, maybe I did drink a bit more than 2, but not enough to feel hungover. That's just my interpretation. I haven't voiced my thoughts or criticized her publicly, but I'll admit it just left a bad taste in my mouth. To me, it seems like stretching the truth and then seeking validation after. It feels manipulative, dishonest. I commend her progress, but using the term sober in this context feels like a stretch. We're not particularly close, but I declined an invitation from her and chose not to invite her to something I typically would have. AITA. Interesting.
Very interesting.
The sobriety spectrum.
Yes. Well, for me personally, I don't consider myself sober because I'm not. I still smoke weed.
Right.
And I'll take mushrooms every now and then. So I don't say, occasionally maybe I'll drop that word, but for the most part, I just say I don't drink or I'm alcohol free. And so whenever I make my posts, every year, I always say 3 years no alcohol or 2 years alcohol free. Cause I don't consider myself sober and I don't want to use that word.
That's a good point. I hadn't even thought of that layer of this. Yeah, I guess I think clean and sober is a phrase. So when I hear sober, I think of that as pertaining to alcohol.
Okay,
yeah,
interesting.
But
I clean is clean from drugs.
Yeah, but I don't think you're wrong at all, and I have done the same thing as well because I do partake in other substances, but I don't drink.
Yes, and that's been your standard since you quit 9 or almost 10 years ago?
I used to be higher. I used to not do any. Now I'm back. I'm back at not doing any kind of weed or anything. But I remember 50 days in, I accidentally smoked a vape pen and I freaked out and I was really...
Oh, a weed vape?
Because I was trying to be completely. I do think, to me, drinking, I guess, it's the most I don't know, weed. It's nobody like smokes weed and starts fights. Really.
Yeah. Or ends up in the hospital or
exactly.
in jail. Like those were the things that happened to me.
Yeah.
And so weed was never my issue. Like not even once was it ever a problem for me. And so that was just never a concern of mine to cut that out, because my issue was blacking out and like getting into trouble, forgetting things, like throwing up for days. Like I didn't ever see a reason to cut that out.
Yeah.
And also I don't feel like I have like an addictive personality where like then I would all of a sudden start like getting addicted to weed.
Right.
I do think I am addicted to it in the way that like I like it when I'm like partying. And I guess I do kind of like look forward to that, but I'm not like itching for it.
You don't seize up. You let go.
What does that mean?
Like, in other words, you're not like in your head.
Sometimes with weed. Yeah,
okay.
Sometimes. But for the most part, I mean, it depends on the strain, honestly, or like just the mood I'm in, or if I have external stuff going on. Like if I'm, have anxiety about something else, it will definitely exacerbate it.
It's worse for that.
But I'm not like with alcohol, I would always be like really looking forward to Thursday or Friday, like when I could do it.
Yeah.
Like with weed, I don't do that as much. Like it's just like if I'm in the mood.
Yeah.
But anywho, back to this.
I mean, for me, I'm very much on OP's side. I'm very avoidant of, I think a very generous term here is thorny people. My friend used that term. I liked it. Toxic is going a little farther, but thorny. Just like there ain't something right about what's going on. Because like we're not talking about splitting hairs here. This person is clearly still drinking. They're
but 1 or 2 drinks at a time.
Only ever had 1 or 2 drinks at a time.
Oh, so when I first read that, I thought it meant 1 or 2 drinks out of that year. No,
saying she'd only ever had 1 or 2 drinks at a time and hadn't experienced any hangovers.
Oh, yeah, that's different now. I was thinking she had 2 drinks the entire time.
They're drinking less, so that's great. I mean, and I don't think, I guess my issue is, if somebody was like, oh, they're saying sober, but I know they still smoke weed, I would be like, well, yeah, but I think they just mean they're not drinking. Like, I understand that you're like the most strict, clean. But this to me feels like you are not what you're representing yourself as. Like, you're just going a little too far. Like, why can't you just say the truth, which is that I severely cut my drinking down.
Yeah, and I feel great.
And I feel great.
Practicing sobriety. I think I've talked about that term before with that book that I read, Like a Woman. And the way, I didn't do it this way, but the way that she kind of suggests doing, or the program that she has, The Tempest, is for those who like really struggle with their addiction with alcohol, is you practice sobriety, meaning like you cut down. You only do it like on the weekends. You only do it after a certain time. Like there's just certain things that you can like incorporate into your routine that makes you have a healthier lifestyle. Like for her, Holly, the author, she was like wake up and drink kind of person. So like for her, the slowly cutting back was the thing that she needed to do, because cold turkey was
couldn't handle it.
So difficult for her. And I know that's how a lot of people are. So I do understand that, but then like labeling it as like I've been sober, it is a bit misleading.
I'm trying to think of something that's not so close to me, like another example of someone reaching. I mean, I guess I would say abstinent. Like if you're going to sit there and say, yeah, like I've been celibate, and then like, I mean, there were a few blowjobs. I don't know why this is being discussed, but I would be like, well, why do you feel the need to reach for this term, which actually doesn't apply to you? Like you're kind of, it's like, there's something egotistical to me about it, and I understand the ick here. What do you think?
No, I agree. I've never been a person in my like sobriety journey, quote unquote, where I like it doesn't bother me how other people want to label themselves, because I have had some friends that were in AA who like I did feel a slight judgment from where I decided to continue smoking weed and doing mushrooms here and there.
Yeah.
but I'm not in AA. So like, I don't go to AA meetings and like stand up and say I've been sober for however many days. But like, feel like I felt like a bit of judgment from people where it's like, oh, well, you know, if you had a problem with alcohol, that means that you're probably just like you're now transferring your issue to another substance.
You could. I mean, I've done
definitely
that.
can.
You can.
Do. I don't necessarily feel like that's my case. So I don't like to ever be judgmental of anyone's like journey with their substances, because it's like, do you, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't bother me in any way.
Yeah.
But I do understand the like false like promotion of like, like, why do you have to label it sober when it's like not really what you are doing? It does feel a little bit like, you know, like not braggadocious, but like, yeah, I know what you mean.
I think it's just there's something thorny about it. It's a little manipulative. It's like, well, you're kind of going for the like the big term. It's like it's the same thing as like saying like, oh, I'm vegan. Well, I mean, I do still eat cheese. It's like, right. So then you're not vegan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would you even, you know, frame it that way?
Yeah, I guess it's just like putting a label on it when.
And it seems like wording is a core thing here. Like this person is really hitting the fact that they're sober. That's kind of like the headline. But then they are being transparent, to be fair. Yeah, they're telling on themselves.
I do like that they then go into the caption and elaborate.
Whereas if somebody told me like I'm sober and then I went out with them and they're just drinking a couple, and they're like, well, yeah, sober a couple beers. I don't know. See, is that really so different though? I feel like, and then they're like, yeah, well, I'm sober, except I have a couple of beers. And I'd be like, so you're not sober. Why would you ever say you're sober? You're not. That's not what that means.
It's basically like, a label thing instead of just like, for example, like I do have a friend who just barely drinks anymore. Like he kind of does say like, oh yeah, I don't really drink. But then like every now and then he'll have like a celebratory like whiskey or whatever. Yeah. But it's just like, he doesn't necessarily go around saying I'm sober, I'm in AA. Like,
see, and you just nailed it. Yeah. Why can't you just say I don't drink? Because that's not a headline. That's not going to bring in the likes. Yeah.
Or it's like, I don't drink often, or I don't really drink.
I don't drink often. That's like snooze fest. You need that. You need it to be juicier.
Have some kind of a exactly behind you. I do have another friend that was like, he was sober for a little while, like 6 months or something. And then because he had posted about like his progress, he felt the need to then have to continue that. So then he would like have a mixed drink on a plane and be like, mocktail. And it wasn't. So he felt this like pressure to like, oh my God, I need to like still pretend because I don't want people to know. So that was like a whole other like deep thing of like, you're clearly struggling with your sobriety.
Yeah, that's very ego driven right there.
Totally. It's like you could have just never posted again and like you don't have to post your
right, exactly. Yeah, like we're all waiting. When is he gonna post?
Yeah, please. We need to know the next milestone.
I think this is the kind of thing where if someone does it, it's, you know, unless they're a close friend and you want to call them out, but I feel like it's a don't touch it. I'm getting ick vibes from this. I understand where OP's coming from. I don't think it's an asshole move. I think they want to present themselves in such and such a way. I don't love it, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to go that far.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely can see getting the ick. I don't know that I would like, I mean, she says they're not particularly close, but I don't know that I would necessarily like not go to like their events or like not invite them anymore. It's just like, I've had friends that have done things that I don't agree with, like the person I just told the story about, but it's kind of like, whatever, like they're just going to do them sometimes and you have to accept your friends for who they are. But this person's not really particularly close. So maybe it's like a little bit of a red flag of like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't get closer with this
I'm not
person.
interested in being closer. That's how I kind of took it.
I do want to go back a little bit to OP, like with the non-alcoholic beers and stuff. Like, where do you think they're coming from adding that into the story?
That they had 7 non-alcoholic beers at a wedding reception.
Yeah, like
it's a lot.
But is this non-alcoholic beers, the ones that have like 0.5?
Yeah, I mean most are like that. And actually, no, that's kind of changing now.
Yeah,
it used to be most had 0.5, but now a lot have 0. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess I can understand why somebody would be alarmed by something like that, but
I wonder if she's had people like kind of say shit to her about that.
It's kind of a spectrum, but like if you think about the math of that, that's like, okay, so let's just say they're all 0.5s. That'd be like having one beer basically. That's 3.5. It'd be like having one beer over 4 hours. A week beer over 4 hours.
Yeah, that's not going to do anything.
Insane.
Which actually, though, whenever I do have those drinks, it literally will go right to my head. I can feel it. I'm already a lightweight. Like I already was such a lightweight with alcohol. And now that I haven't drank in 3 years, whenever I do have a non-alcoholic beer like that, I will literally feel slightly tipsy.
Really?
Yes. It's crazy. So I try and stay away from those unless I'm like in the mood to feel a little loosey-goosey.
Damn.
But the taking a sip of a mixed drink out of curiosity, that's interesting to me. What do you think that's about? Just to taste it?
Yeah. I mean, they always have like highfalutin descriptions and whatnot. I can understand. I mean, AA, like there is a spectrum here. And I think that's why this is interesting. Like the AA people don't do any non-alcoholic beer. They would not approve of taking a sip.
They call them near beers, right?
Yeah, I've actually meditated on this for some time. I've thought about this. So my dad always said the term near beer, and I would say it, and people would be like, "What are you talking about?"
Oh, they never heard of it?
They never heard of it. And then I ran into one at the store, and it said near beer.
Oh.
And I was like, he must be. And yeah, there was apparently a couple of specific beers that marketed themselves as near beers.
Oh, I always just thought it was an AA term.
No. Yeah, maybe that
basically
too.
Would be like, because I feel like, and listeners out there, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like they call it a near beer because you're still, like alcoholics are still getting that like rush, that sensation of like that addictive, like I like have a friend that's sober completely and he won't partake in those because even the taste of it can potentially spiral him into wanting the real thing.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if it goes that far that the taste kind of triggers this maniacal, craving.
It is a little bit of a placebo effect that I think that I probably get too.
That I think is a more reasonable analysis of what you're describing because we are talking about very, very small amounts of alcohol.
I know, but I really can tell between that and a Heineken 0.0. I really can tell a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, you weigh less than me, so I'm not here to judge your experience. But I guess I would say from a judgment perspective, from a legal limit perspective, like, I don't know how many near beers you'd have to throw down to get anywhere near the legal limit.
Right,
and I think a lot of people would argue, at least this is what I've definitely heard all my life, is like legal limit's too low. People are like, I'm fine at the legal limit,
Yeah.
You would literally have to drink like probably 20?
In an hour or something.
Yeah, like you'd have to you would not have fun. You would be incapacitated from the liquid before you were affected.
Truly, you'd be laying on the floor.
But that's my personal thing. I think it's an interesting thing. Nonetheless, I think this is a good ick detection. I don't know. In my 30s, I'm trying to be more sensitive to icks where I'm just like, I think you nailed it too. It's also just having boundaries. It's like, oh, I can go to that person's party, but I don't really want to be close with them. I'm not interested in having a one-on-one kind of situation with them or whatever.
Yeah. And I do appreciate that she elaborated in her caption and was more honest. Like she wasn't just fully trying to lie like my one friend was.
Yeah.
But I do think maybe maybe it's just that word sober, because I do think a lot of people, that word has a lot of power in it.
Yeah.
And it could be, I guess, maybe insulting to those that are. I mean, I've kind of like seeing myself in it too. I was saying I'm vegetarian at home and I never updated people when I stopped being. Right. And that's kind of how I am too, honestly. Like I'm an at-home vegetarian pretty much too.
Pretty much.
Yeah, no, not fully. Not fully. Like when I eat on my own, but like if I cook for Max and I, there's meat. But like if I'm just like eating lunch and stuff, like it's always, I don't cook meat.
Veggie. Oh, yeah. You cook meat. Good for you.
Except at night when with Max, I don't know how to fucking do it. Like I need to take a lesson on how to cook meat. It's hard. Right. I always like overcook it or something. Like it's, I don't know how people get that sweet spot.
Yeah.
Like cooking it right.
I suck at cooking.
Same with like shrimp. Like it always ends up being rubbery. Like
it's a lot of butter.
It's hot. Like add more butter.
I don't know. It's the restaurants too. Anyway, we're getting off topic. AITA for judging someone whose sobriety still involves drinking. I'm at no assholes here. Ultimately, I think something can be ick-inducing and I don't like it, but not cross into them being an asshole. I don't really like them.
The other guy or the other girl.
Yeah.
I would say no assholes here. I do think like it could be slightly judgy of OP, but I understand the judge. I probably would be doing it too because I'm like, why are you waving this like flag of like, I don't know, sobriety when you're not? So I'd say no assholes here too.
All right, here we go. AITA for refusing to buy the engagement ring back off of my ex. Did I just read the last one and you were supposed to read it?
Oh, yeah.
Did I just step all over you? I'm so sorry.
I didn't notice.
I didn't notice either.
Just read this one. That's okay.
Fine. AITA for refusing to buy the engagement ring back off of my ex. So I, 23M, recently got out of a relationship with my ex-fiance, Mara, 23F. We were together for 3 years and engaged for 4 months. I called off the engagement and eventually broke up with Mara due to her cheating on me and lying about various things unrelated to the cheating. I think people deserve second chances, but my final straw was when I found out she'd been cheating on me with her own stepbrother. And I knew I had to walk away. Their breakup was very volatile. There was lots of arguing and her trying to bargain with me, and I asked her to leave my apartment. My family was very disappointed when they found out. My parents really wanted me to marry Mara. When we were first starting dating, my mom gave me a family heirloom, a ring, to propose to her. Its value is sentimental. It's not made of any particularly expensive materials like gold or diamond. My mom is now asking for the ring back, but I never got it back from Mara. Once things had cooled off, I did ask her for the ring. She asked why she should give it back, hinting that she wanted payment. I offered her $40 and she demanded $300 plus my laptop and PS5.
Oh.
And threatened to pawn the ring. I called her bluff and said she's getting $40 or nothing. She said, have it your way, and shut the door in my face and said she's pawning it.
Wow.
I explained to my mom. My mom was angry that I didn't immediately pay her to get it back by any means necessary and asked my laptop and PlayStation were more important than an heirloom. I told her Mara probably wouldn't have given it back anyway and likely already lost or pawned it. She demanded I contact her immediately and offer her what she wants. I said, no, I'm not doing that on principle. This caused an argument between me and my mom, and she thinks I'm being a bad son. AITA.
Oh, man. I hate both of them. I hate OP and I hate Mara.
You hate OP because?
Because it's not your ring. It was a family heirloom. Okay. I mean, you end up giving it to Mara. But your mom wanted it back. It's clearly very important to her. Family heirloom has so much value in it, no matter how much it costs.
Is that redundant?
Gold. What? Family heirloom. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be from the family?
Yeah, I was actually thinking that the other day. Yeah, because I was wearing all of heirlooms from like my aunt and my grandma one night. And so like I made a post and I was like, oh yeah, I don't think I have to say family heirloom. I think heirloom is just means family. A family like treasure. So heirloom.
If I give you an AITA pod sticker and you do something with it, I'm gonna be like, that was a friendly fucking heirloom dog.
That's
like,
right.
Why would you do that shit?
That's right. So I just feel like he should have, the fact that she threatened to pawn it, like if I was him, I would have been like, okay, fine. Like my mom clearly wants it back. I need to do something about her. I would have called my mom and be like, look, she's being completely unreasonable, but how much does this mean to you? Like, I think it's fucked up for him to walk away with the threat that she's going to pawn it because he's calling her bluff, sure. But she could have, he's even saying himself that, oh, she probably lost it and pawned it already. Like, okay, so you're putting no value on this heirloom that was like potentially her mom's or her grandma's or whatever, that meant so much to her that she thought her daughter-in-law was going to have. She wasn't giving it to you for it to potentially be pawned one day. So you need to stick your neck out regardless of what your ex did to you. And you need to make this right. And don't walk away with the risk that she's going to fucking throw it out.
I'm with you. It's just fascinating to see you get so charged up. I can never predict it. I'm with you. I don't know why you're mad at me about it, but I'm with you. Yeah, I think you're right. And I know, this is definitely more, not to gender it up, but I think, caring about rings and heirlooms. I mean, I think this is something I've learned from you. We've talked about it a lot. You're into family and like asking about people's family. Like it's a little bit more, but I understand it. It's something that's been passed down. I understand the value.
It's so precious to me. I'm wearing my Nana's right now as we speak.
You're wearing a ring on a necklace?
No. It was my Nana's necklace.
It was her necklace. Yeah. Got it.
Which is still an heirloom. Heirlooms don't have to be rings.
I got that. Right.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah. I'm not a total moron, just partial moron. It's like sober. I'm partial
That's
moron.
Right.
I think you're right. I think Mara is being very unfair, and I think we have comments that back this up, but we have covered this before. Not for a while though, and I think it was in the Sarah days. Successful show 7397 writes, she needs to give it back. An engagement ring is given in contemplation of marriage. That marriage hasn't happened and isn't going to happen. Tell her she needs to return it intact or you'll take her to court. An engagement ring is not a gift. That's true. It's not a gift. It's a conditional gift.
Different states have different rules around it, but I do know in New York State, just because this was on a show that I'm watching right now, it's Summer House. Carl and Lindsay broke up.
Yeah.
And Carl asked for the ring back, and he's the one that broke off the engagement. And so there's like some chatter online whether that's like the right thing to do. And Carl was like, well, it's just the law. Like it is contingent on there being a marriage, and there wasn't.
Yeah.
And that makes sense to me. But if there was, but if there was a marriage, what do you think should happen? Do you think it should just be whoever fucked up or whoever decide to leave should then either give it back or get to keep it?
Oh, well, I don't know if I have a talking point on how divorce assets should be structured. I think divorce should protect as much as possible. It should protect anybody who's in like a homemaker or domestic role,
or
which
like
is mostly
less
women.
Financial, like.
Yeah. Well, like if a woman gave up her career to raise kids, like, yes, I believe she should basically be cared for life.
Right. But say this exact same thing happened, but they got married.
So they got married and then they were together and then
now
she
they're
fucked
her stepbrother, which wow.
I think my issue when we talk about cheating, because then we're getting basically into treating cheating almost like it's a crime. And I think that's problematic for other reasons, right? Because you're almost saying like, well, whoever cheated, they shouldn't get anything in the divorce or whatever. They have a less favorable thing. But I think that's problematic because then there's like, well, then you go, well, what caused the cheating? What if he refused to have sex with her because he was a pornography addict? It's like, oh, well, that's not a crime. And it's like, well, you see, and there's like kind of problems with like, I know we're not literally criminalizing it, but we're like legally penalizing it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what about just somebody there's like, they're perfectly fine. Like one of them just wants out.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really think that's why, like,
I guess the law is if you get married, the woman gets to keep it because then it was a gift. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because then it's considered a gift.
The conditions obtained. The conditions were get married.
Yeah, so legally.
Not stay married. It's not called a you're fucked forever ring.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the law that the woman gets to keep it.
That adds up. Interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. Because, I mean, well, in this case, I mean, I think she definitely fucked up. She was cheating and lying about various unrelated things. We don't know the other side of the story.
Yeah, we also don't know how hot her stepbrother was.
That's true.
There's no blood.
It's going to make a difference. No blood.
There's no blood.
I'm really curious when the stepbrother came into the picture, though.
Yeah.
If it was like from the beginning, that is just wrong.
Yeah.
If it's a little later, then it's like, okay, we didn't grow up together.
See, I don't have any of that. I don't know anything about personally. Do you have any personal experience with steps or halves? Or
no,
nothing?
Max has 2 stepsisters, but
Yeah.
And he wasn't really raised with them. Like they came into the picture when he was like maybe 16. So and they were 4. So he was like out of the house.
Yeah.
By the time they were really around.
It's like one of those, I think it's like the most popular adult film topic.
Oh, for sure. And I get it.
It's because they're around.
And it's also, it's like, it's wrong, but it's not wrong enough that it's disgusting.
Right. It doesn't cause any actual problems.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're somehow at incest. I don't know how we got there.
But if that happened to me, like I would be like, oh my God, like the biggest ick ever.
Yeah,
that would make me
gross.
so fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that I think OP is not respecting his mom, but I do understand, and I am ultimately more on OP's side because, you know, Mara seems like kind of a wreck here, and this is hard, and she should have just given him the ring to begin with.
No, give it back. That is so fucked up. You fucked your stepbrother, and then you think you get to keep the ring? And also, the ring doesn't even have that much value to it anyway. Give it the fuck back.
I know. It's like a $40
Why do you
ring.
think that you would get $300 and a laptop and a PS5? I mean, a laptop's at least $1,000, right?
I mean, yeah.
And then what's a PS5? Do you have any idea?
$500.
500? So, and they're saying there's no gold or expensive.
It's extortion.
It's ridiculous. Why the fuck would you ever think you get anything from this?
Where I'm at with this, AITA for refusing to buy the engagement ring back off my ex. I do agree with you that he is being a wimpo by not just getting on Mara, sticking his neck out. I'm at extremely soft ESH only because I'm trying to meet you a little bit. But I think it is ultimately like a 90-10 ESH.
No.
She is so much worse
Mara
than
is
him.
the fucking worst person ever. She's a stupid fucking bee. But I really don't like that he is it's not his to decide that I'm not going to fight for it more.
I know, but Mara's like a nightmare, so he doesn't want to deal with her and her bullshit.
I know, but do it for your mom.
Okay, so where are you at?
ESH. Well, except for the mom.
You're at equal ESH?
Okay, not equal. Not equal. I understand why he doesn't want to deal with it, but I don't think that it was okay for him to just be like calling her bluff and walking away and letting the ring get pawned.
I agree.
If that happened, if the ring really got pawned, like that is so fucked up. You really should have fought for it more. This was your mom's. This was your family's. This was not yours to decide that I'm going to walk away.
Yes, ma'am.
Nope.
Understood.
No.
Do not fuck. Now I want to do a prank where I like steal one of your heirlooms and make you think it's gone because it's
that
the
would
most
not go
emotion
over
I've
well.
ever seen you have.
Heirlooms are very important.
She loves an heirloom, people.
I love an heirloom.
Guys, thank you for supporting us. We really appreciate it. It means a lot to us. It means more to me that you support us than Shannon and her precious heirlooms.
I don't know. He's not getting so heated over here.
I gotta get heated to express my
You gotta
love?
get equally as excited.
Okay. Guys, thank you so much. Oh my God. I love you listeners. You know it, people. All right, Shannon, take us out.
No, we have 2 more. Remember we're doing 4 now?
Oh, just kidding. All right, Shago. All right, Shadow.
Chicken.
Take us out almost. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. Over 200 bonus episodes, ad-free versions of all the main episodes. That's over 500 episodes. It's a lot of content, and this is the best way to get it. So please join us. Join our Discord. You can yell at me directly. Do not talk that way to Shannon, but you can say whatever you want to me. Well, please, I have feelings technically, but I am converting myself into an AI, so that won't last. But anyway, join us, patreon.com/AITA pod.
AITA for refusing to be maid of honor over a bridesmaid, causing her to get fired. My best friend Jane is marrying her fiance Tom in July. She asked me to be her maid of honor. This was sort of expected as Jane is essentially a sister to me. I was surprised, however, that she asked her brother's girlfriend Kathy to be a bridesmaid. Jane later confided that Kathy had kind of pressured her into it and she had done it to make Elliot, her brother, happy. The issue is Kathy hates me, like seriously hates me. She blames me for all the issues she has with Elliot and Jane's parents and for her not having a better friendship with Jane. She also thinks I am trying to steal Elliot from her. I'm not, but also cannot handle whenever he and I disagree on anything and will go overboard defending him and arguing with me. I was determined to put all that aside for Jane. Last weekend, we went to a bridal shop to choose bridesmaid dresses. Jane mentioned that she wanted me and Elliot to walk down the aisle together, and Kathy lost it. She called me desperate, crazy, a pick-me, a fake, fat, and a bunch of other things. Looking back, I probably should have said more than I did, but at that moment, I could see how everyone was looking at her, and I didn't want them looking at me the same way. So I literally just said, yeah, I'm not dealing with this. Either she's out or I am. And picked up my stuff and left. I apologized to Jane for the drama and offered her a long weekend of babysitting and some flowers to make up for it. And she accepted, so we're okay now. Because of this, Jane has said that Kathy can't be a bridesmaid anymore because she wants me as maid of honor. Well, this has caused issues with Kathy and Elliot by extension. Both Elliot and Kathy have apologized and said that Kathy will behave better for all of the wedding events, but I'm not willing to budge. Jane's mother and my mother both think I should drop the ultimatum, and I don't want to make things hard on Jane, so I am rethinking. But I know there are other things she will try to cause issues with me over, and I just don't know how long I can keep being the bigger person with her. AITA.
Oh boy. I think my first question for you is, okay, so let's go to, so we kind of have the big showdown. Mm-hmm. We have the big showdown. Mm-hmm. And that is at what event? I'm getting lost.
They went to go pick up their bridesmaid's dress.
And she then blows up. OP says, yeah, I'm not dealing with this. Either she's out or I am. Mm-hmm. I thought that was actually kind of reasonable. I mean, like that could have been way worse. If she had been like, you know what? What's her name? Kathy? This is all about you because you're a freaking B word or whatever. I kind of feel like what she did was just like, hey, it's me or her. I'm out.
Yeah, she like walked away from the drama. And I mean,
did that deserve an apology?
From
she apologized to Jane. I think that was very reasonable. Offered babysitting and flowers.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that she's really doing anything wrong by, I mean, you know, you are slightly putting your friend in an awkward position to have to choose between you two, but like you're not the one necessarily doing that. Like Kathy kind of is the one that's putting her in that awkward position because she's acting like a fucking lunatic. And she's turning these special events, like, you know, picking out your dress and going with your girls, like, you know, those are always little events throughout the wedding, about you.
Yeah.
Now, this was probably not the time and place for Jane to say that she wants her brother and maid of honor to walk down the aisle together, OP, because Kathy is clearly threatened by OP's relationship with the brother.
Right.
So maybe that wasn't like the best idea. Like maybe they could have talked about that at another time. But like Kathy really is just making everything about herself.
That's what I'm seeing a lot of here. It's just like it all comes back to her and her thing. It doesn't really seem like OP is even all that involved. It's just like she's just flipping out. I
mean, I'm sure Jane is like, yeah, you're right. Like, actually, thank you for giving me that ultimatum because I needed a reason to get rid of her.
Unhinged.
Now, I do think it was interesting though, like that Kathy blames OP for the issues between Elliot and Jane's parents and her and why she doesn't have a better relationship with Jane. Like, I feel like there's got to be more of a story there, which there is. We got some comments. So someone asks, this seems kind of suspicious. She obviously behaved horribly, but I don't understand why she hates you so much in the first place or why she feels like you're to blame for the issues she has with the family. OP responds, she feels like Elliot's dad hates her because he wanted Elliot to date me. This is not true. I don't know why he doesn't like her. Oh. She apparently thinks there's no room for her and Jane to be close because Jane, quote unquote, already has a sister. Genuinely don't know why she thinks I'm trying to steal Elliot. We have never been close or friends. I have never given any indication that I want her boyfriend. We annoy the ever-loving crap out of each other.
Yeah, I mean, this person seems very insecure and unhinged. And then when they're kind of getting this reaction, like it seems like Elliot's dad is probably just like, oh, hey, Kathy. They're like, oh, so this is about how you want Elliot to fuck OP, isn't it? And he's like, no, it's because you are always stirring shit. And so you're not my favorite person to see. You see how your lack of self-awareness and accountability is feeding into your own paranoia, which is ultimately all extremely self-centered.
Right. It doesn't have anything to do with OP. It has everything to do with that you're kind of a little psycho.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if she's, yeah. That's one way to put it for sure. I think it's just like this person is so chronically insecure that she's unhinged. She's difficult to be with. Mm-hmm. You know, and I hate when couples do this too. And so when I'm trying to steal Elliot from her, but also can't handle whenever he and I disagree on anything and will go way overboard defending him and arguing with me. Like there's people that are, I'm like, yeah, we disagree. Like I was in like a friendship trio briefly and me and one of the people were disagreeing and the other person would freak out. And I'm like, yeah, we're just two adults that are disagreeing right now. Like nothing bad is happening per se, nothing good, but like it wasn't ugly.
So they just didn't want either of you to be fighting? Were they taking someone's side?
No, they didn't take sides, but they would just freak out. And I'm like, why are you acting that way? I'm like, bro, like we're two adults that are not on the same page right now. But like it wasn't ugly. It wasn't loud. It wasn't even, I would say, particularly heated.
Right. Was it a personal reason or was it like just a debate about something?
Yeah, it was basically a debate. Yeah. It was a debate about how we were going to do something. And
gotcha.
But yeah, I think when couples are also like very rigidly, especially like on trivial issues, I understand, you know, if it's a serious thing, then there can be a little bit of alliance work. But like if you're talking about some stupid thing.
Yeah, you can kind of just stay out of it. Let them work it out on their own.
Yes. Or like disagree. Like people should be able to disagree. We're like, come on.
And clearly they have a bit of a brother and sister relationship anyway, as it is. So it's
right.
Like they're bound to like not get along sometimes. It's okay.
Right. Yeah, so that's my read. So we get into this update?
Yes.
Jane said Kathy won't be a bridesmaid and she's sorry it came to that. We agreed Jane would handle any questions about Kathy and says it wasn't about my ultimatum.
Okay, good.
Elliot and I talked. I guess Kathy has a bad relation with her own family. That's why she was really hoping to bond with his. He also said she has a lot of insecurities and projects those onto me. Apparently, Elliot's best friend, my family by marriage, shared some things with her and kind of over-egged some stories and set Kathy thinking I was Regina George.
Oh, okay.
She thinks because I have a history of dating people close to him, 2 people years apart, that I must secretly like him.
Okay.
Elliot agrees this is crazy, but Kathy just won't let go. As for us walking together, I said I would support him asking Jane if he could walk with another bridesmaid, but that if Jane insists, I'm going to be on her side. Elliot said it's fair. He said he's been trying to be understanding of her issues, but he sees now it was wrong to force the bridesmaid issue, and he's going to focus on helping Kathy in a way that doesn't involve everyone else from now on. I left it there. We'll definitely be watching her for any drama at the wedding, but for now, that's it. I think it's a lot. You know, I think I'm just kind of noticing this too. We'll get into more of it later, but like with speed dating and stuff, it's just like, it's kind of like a lot to put. You don't want to put pressure is not fun. Pressure is not fun.
Yeah.
And like, I understand like when you're, you know, it's like women don't want to waste their time with someone, but like you kind of do need to be judicious because like it just can really suck the fun out of anything. And like, can you imagine being in a family and feeling like this woman wanted you to be her family? I'd be like, ma'am, like, I don't even know you. That's so much pressure. Now I have to be your family. Like,
yeah, instead of like letting it happen organically.
Yes.
Yeah, like when you're trying to make something happen too much, it's like, okay, like for example, like if you're wanting people to have fun so badly that you're controlling the environment so much, it's like, how could I have fun when you're like,
Yes.
are you having fun? Are you having fun? This is fun, right? Should we go to the next place because maybe that'll be more fun? And it's like, well, nobody's having fun right now. You're not letting us breathe.
Right.
It's like that kind of feeling.
Okay, I actually have a counter theory to that. It agrees with that, but it's a scant of it.
Okay.
In Spanish, the word for fun is like divertad. I forget how it is, but it has divert in it.
Oh, okay.
Diversion. And so my theory is basically that sometimes you get max fun when someone is trying to structure and then basically not doing what that person says for some reason is the most fun.
Okay. Yeah. Like going against the rules in a way, or going against the grain a little bit.
Yeah. Like if you're for some reason, when you're at a funeral, like obviously if you're really mourning a person, then you're on that side of the funeral. But I'm saying if you're kind of like forced to go to a funeral and that level of tension.
Where are we going with this?
Like just there's something tense about it of you're not supposed to have fun at a funeral. So then like if something.
It's like when you're laughing in church.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my God. We have had so many instances like that growing up where something funny happened. This one time the Reverend was praying and it was during Christmas time. And you know, poinsettias or whatever.
Those plants?
Yeah, I have one outside actually.
Okay.
There was a bunch of them lined up and he got on his knees to pray and he put his head directly into the poinsettia. And it was just like the funniest thing ever. And we were dying laughing, but it wasn't even that funny, but the fact that we couldn't laugh.
Of course, right.
Made it so much funny. And we're like literally crying. Actually, that's happened to me on the pod before, remember? This was like last year and like something funny happened and I could not stop crying, laughing, but I was trying not to because you guys were continuing talking.
Right. You couldn't get back on track.
And I could not. And the fact that I wasn't supposed to be laughing made it that much more funny.
Yeah. But anyway, I think like a lot of these things tend to be self-fulfilling prophecies too, because like, you know, it's like just not, I mean, you think about it in a dating perspective, like most people are going to kind of run away from you if you're bringing in that kind of heat.
Yes.
Like, I want to make you my wife. It's like, okay, like that's too much, too fast. Like, and it works on both sides. It's like most emotionally healthy people are going to get the ick from that because here's what it is. It stops feeling like it's about you. And that is really kind of a turnoff to anybody. It's like, I want to bond with someone who wants to bond with me, not someone who's desperate for a bond. Like it kind of depersonalizes it.
Yes. And when someone's like holding on that tightly to you, it makes you want to pull away more. And and really what they want is more from you. And you're like, oh my God, I can't give you any more than I'm giving you. Like you're killing me right now. Right. And it takes away like your autonomy to like give.
Yes.
Because then you're getting forced to give.
Yes. Gotta discover and explore. So anyway, Kathy's a mess. We can't solve her problems.
And she's clearly projecting all of her issues onto OP when it's not about OP at all.
Yeah, that's not.
So definitely NTA.
AITA for refusing to be maid of honor over a bridesmaid, causing her to get fired. I actually thought this was pretty well handled. There's been a lot of situations where I wish I could have just said something as clean as, yeah, I'm not dealing with this, I'm out.
Yeah.
That's great. More people, we should do that more.
Honestly, it's a boundary, right? I would say. Yeah. I guess it's an ultimatum boundary. But
it is. She's out. I'm not being around that person. Yeah.
And honestly, I think Jane is probably like, thank you. I needed something to be able to be like, she gone.
And sometimes it is that simple. It's like, there's also been conflicts in my life where I'm like, God, I wish I had not tried to hash it out. Sometimes you just know. But anyway, so we're aligned on that. NTA.
Yes.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap things up. Thanks again for supporting us. Thank you so much.
So excited and happy.
AITA for running away after the dog I was watching bit someone. This is a listener submish. I-20F was pet sitting for someone, was taking the dog on a walk. He was on a leash and had been very well behaved. I was walking him when he suddenly nipped at an old man running by. I thought he was just saying hi and didn't realize he bit the man. The dog started running away after, and since I was holding the leash, I got pulled along. The man started screaming and cussing, and I could hear him running after us. I got scared and we kept running. I stopped and let the man catch up to us, and he got in my face and seemed like he was about to hit me. He was screaming and yelling about how I need to take care of my dog. When I explained I was just a pet sitter, he didn't care and just kept yelling. I started sobbing and he would not leave me alone even after I gave my info, and a lady had to come and intervene.
Wow.
I feel bad because it looked like I was trying to run away from him, but I didn't realize a dog had bitten him, and also got scared when I could hear him chasing us. AITA for running away.
Oh, such an uncomfortable position to be in.
I gotta say, rereading this, I'm like, and he wouldn't leave me alone even after I gave my info. This feels like unchecked man.
Yeah.
It's like, dog, what do you want?
Truly, this it's different what happened to me, but this one time we were like at a stoplight and it turned green, and like I was looking down, I was texting, it's bad, but like, you know, when you see the green out of your corner of your eye and you like just assume everyone's going, I started going and I like rear-ended somebody, but like going 2 miles an hour, you know? And he gets out of his car and he like starts screaming at me. And I was like, okay, well, can we pull over? And he's like, no, because he was from a different country. So like, I don't know that there's that rule there that you have to pull over, because we were blocking up so much traffic. It was like a busy street. And he was screaming at me. He's like, give me $500 right now. Give me $500 right now in cash, or I'm calling the cops. I'm like, I don't have fucking $500 cash on me. And he was berating me and he wouldn't stop. He wouldn't let us pull over. And all this traffic's coming, like beeping at us. And I like started crying because I was like, oh my God, like, what do I do? And I told the cop, I'm like, he's yelling at me and whatever. I ended up getting like a reckless driving ticket and whatnot. But it was just like, okay, bro, like calm the fuck down. It's okay.
Yeah, I'm shook. I'm sorry that happened to you. That's
yeah, it was
insane.
when I was a teenager too. I was literally like 17 years old.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what country you're from, dog, but in this country, it's not barely bump someone and you get $500. Do not collect go. Like, what?
It was very, very like.
We have a system. It's convoluted.
I know. And then when the cop got there, because he truly wouldn't let us pull over. Then finally the cop got there and he was like, yeah, you guys need to pull over. I'm like, thank you. I've been saying that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it just like kind of reminded me of this where it's like, okay, I get it. Like I'm taking responsibility here and you're just fucking berating me.
Yeah. Wow. I think, yeah, this sounds like this guy got really charged. Now, I would say what you did wasn't exactly comparable too, because they did try to leave. And whenever someone tries to leave something, that is like an additional, like, wow, you really are
a hit and run kind of vibe.
Exactly.
But
a dog bite and run.
I guess she didn't realize it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I commented on this. Thanks for submitting to the subreddit, by the way, OP. We love to see it. I do really feel like this. It seems like this person ain't really good at dogs. They're very young. They're 20. And I'm kind of laying the blame on the dog owner. It seems like they had no protocol for this, no expectation. I mean, usually a nippy dog is a nippy dog. That's a conversation.
Right.
Hey, Buster.
Just be aware when you're going out for walks, keep them away from anyone.
You can get a little frisky down there, Buster. He's not going to maul someone, but it still hurts to be nipped.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what kind of dog it was. She doesn't say.
I got the impression it was a little dog. Did she say?
That's what I thought too. Maybe the nipped made it seem like it was a smaller dog.
I got nipped by a pit bull. What happened? Well, my femoral artery is severed. It was really a hearty nip. Truly.
We did have a lot of different verdicts on this one, though. Actually, we got a wide range. Someone said, "Oh boy, YT, I don't think you're telling the truth. I've never known a dog to just bite someone and then run away, and I find it hard to believe that the dog was so strong that you had no control whatsoever to pull him back, and you had no choice but to keep running. I find it more likely that dog bit the man, you panicked and pulled the dog and ran on your own accord." To avoid confrontation. You just didn't anticipate the other guy following you. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of not playing it as it lays, but I guess interpretation.
It adds up, though. It kind of just feels like they did run away. It's true. Dogs, when they bite, they're usually kind of aggressing, not running.
Yeah, that does make sense. I don't know dogs too well, so I don't exactly know. But yeah, I feel like if they bite, why would they then? I mean, unless they really did feel threatened, it's like get a quick nip in and then get the hell out. But I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't really sound right. I have to say I do agree with this comment generally. I'm still willing to put some blame on the dog owner. This is something that should have come up at some point, and you need to give thorough directions, you know, whenever you are giving your dog to someone.
No, totally. But I also have heard a lot of different stories about how like there's an extremely well-behaved dog and then all of a sudden they bite and rip someone's face off. Like I've literally heard those stories online, which scare the shit out of me. But at the end of the day, dogs are animals. Yeah. They're still always going to have their animal instincts. And so truly, maybe the dog never even had anything like this happen to them.
I'm struggling. I feel like you're conflating the kinds of stories. I feel like we're talking about stories where like pit bulls will randomly eat their owners, which does happen.
Eat them?
Oh, Danny. Whatever. Bite them to death.
Rip their face off.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I love my pit bull. Yeah, statistically, there's also, I think there's literally 100 million dogs. So like, there's bound to be a few crazy puppies in there.
That's true.
But I love a pit bull, by the way. Don't even come at me, guys.
I know. They're great so breed. Freaking cute.
But like, yeah, I think little dogs, though, this is it. Little dogs.
Know.
Shannon.
We don't know it's a little dog.
Oh, it's a nip. Little dogs.
Yeah, but any dog can nip. A full bite is like where they get the whole skin. A nip can be like this.
Okay. That's fair. Fine. But statistically, according to a statistic I made up, 99% of nips are from little dogs.
I mean,
you know I'm okay. Right, though.
Or yeah, if you're listening, can you write in and tell us what kind of dog it is? Because really that will...
Little dogs are always the most aggressive. You know why? Because little dogs are little Cathy's. They're very insecure because they're basically rats. And you can just punt them. And they're smaller than most dogs.
Complex.
Yeah, they're short men. They're the short men of dogs. They're little tiny puppies.
I do think that if your dog that you're walking here, not your dog, your friend's dog, he suddenly nips at an old man running by, I still think I would have stopped and been like, oh my God, are you okay? Like shit.
Yeah, well, they're 20. You're mature.
True. But I do think that like maybe if the dog makes any sort of contact with the human, like that does warrant you stopping and just seeing what happens, because a nip can break skin, can it?
Yeah.
So I think
nasty nip.
She definitely should have stopped. And I think her biggest crime is, like running away with the dog. Because even if she didn't realize that he actually got the man, that still warrants you stopping and being like, oh my God, are you okay? I'm so sorry.
I'm with you. I'm giving some soft credit here for young person, not the dog owner. I think they got flustered. AITA for running away after the dog I was watching bit someone. I think I'm going to give I think I'm actually kind of changing here too. Like
maybe soft
ESH.
Soft
maybe.
ESH.
Pet owner is partly responsible.
Man
a little
berating a young woman.
Yeah, that's true. I don't like him either.
Yeah.
This is a bad.
I get being upset and shocked, and like it doesn't. If somebody does you wrong, like a lot of times it doesn't really matter like what their gender and age is in the moment, because you're not really seeing it. But like an old man berating a young woman, like I don't know, maybe just think twice. It can definitely be scary.
Yeah.
But I get when someone does you wrong, you're just not even thinking about that stuff and you're just running after, like, how dare you run away? Like,
yeah.
And I guess you're heated. But also if she's taking responsibility and saying sorry and crying, back off, bro. So yeah, ESH.
Softest on
I think she just handled it poorly. And when something happens, a whirlwind like that, you're not always going to handle it great. It happens.
Yeah.
Astronaut Sam, I think we've landed on the planet successfusly.
Wow, the moon looks very beautiful.
Oh, wait a minute. I think we have two people approaching us now.
Are those people or are those aliens?
Hello.
Take us to your leader.
Our leader is the leader of the OKOP podcast. Do you have any other aliens that would like to listen?
Perhaps. There is some overlap between our listeners and your podcast, strange visitors.
Do you aliens also listen to Reddit stories?
We love Reddit.
Perfect. We have daily Reddit content, so if any of your alien friends want to come over, they can search OKOP Show wherever they listen to podcasts.
Come listen.
Perfect.
Excellent.
All right. Well, those are the situations.
Oh yeah.
I guess my brief talking point is I got a new show in Echo Park. I'm very excited about it, my neighborhood.
Yes.
Hopefully you guys can come out. Those of you in LA, it's going to be a weekly show. It is on Wednesdays.
Yeah, what time?
Doors at 6:30.
Great. I'll have to
And-
come. Maybe
yeah.
we'll record one day, like
Ooh,
before. and
that could
then
be
I'll
perfect.
come.
And
'Cause I'm not coming at 6:30 all the way to Echo Park. That
That's
traffic.
the worst time to come, right? So, but yeah, it's going to be cool. It's going to be like 4 comedians and me. So it's a smaller show, longer sets, and it's at a juice bar, smoothie place with vegan food. It's actually a completely vegan place.
Oh,
Completely vegetarian for sure. I don't want to.
at home vegetarians.
Yeah, they're at home. It's their home. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited about it. I feel like it's.
How did that come about?
I reached out to a bunch of places. I actually hit kind of a nasty low. I think I had this great set in Tahoe, and then I was working really hard on my material. And then I had kind of a tough experience with local comedy that made me kind of just change my thing. But then I think I was just over, like, I think I can get a little isolating sometimes. And so something broke in my head where I was like, we must take action. We must go forth. And I literally emailed like 5 venues in one morning. And I was like, I just need to be having a weekly show. It was like I couldn't find a place that was perfect. I was kind of doing that thing. It was kind of perfectionism. And then I was like, you know what though?
Mic.
What?
An open mic. That was
No,
great.
a venue to have a show. I've been wanting to have a show here for so
gotcha.
long.
Oh, you were being too picky.
Yeah, I was being too picky. And then I was like, you know what, dude? I need to get rejected at where, like, I need to go out and do stuff because I'm going insane.
Yeah.
So
Now, do they have any other shows at this place?
No,
or
they don't.
Oh, interesting.
So we're gonna, yeah, and
It's an hour long.
It's gonna be like an hour 10 at most. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, yeah, and it's gonna be like I thought it was cool because like I had that experience at Lake Tahoe, which was in a coffee shop. Shout out to Cup of Tahoe,
Oh, yeah.
and I just like the crowd better. I think it's a better energy for my kind of material. It brought out my best.
I feel like people would pay attention more there too. Like at a bar, I've done like back when I used to do stand up. It's always just so frustrating. Like I'm like, you guys aren't fucking listening,
Yeah.
and then everyone else who is listening can't hear me. And like it would make me so angry. Now, sorry, did you say is this an open mic or are you booking?
No, it's a book show. It's not
Okay.
an open mic.
Yeah, interesting. 6:30 show.
Well, it starts at 7, doors at 6.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a little better. Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, thanks, Shano.
Of course.
That's pretty much all my juice. Not a lot going on.
The juice at the juice bar.
Juice at the juice bar. I think we're gonna call it press jokes.
Juice? Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
it's like cute. Okay, that's a good reaction.
Yeah, it's cute. Press jokes.
I wanted to do wheatgrass drunk, but we deemed that too weird.
Although, oh, I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Well, because pressed jokes, because there is a pressed juicery,
Yeah,
and that's probably their.
probably into some of their lore. Yeah,
No, I would say that wouldn't, because it's a juice shop. Pressed juice is their like competitor, so I don't think
Yeah.
that would. I don't know that would work.
they were fine with it.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, there's
You
not like
ran
a
it by
press
them
juice in the
already?
neighborhood or anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks though.
Just looking out.
My one friend, a shout out to Molly, was like, I think it needs to be cold press jokes. And I was like, I think the joke's coming across. She's like, it just helps. It's a little more specific. And I was like, well, they don't cold press their juices. So I feel like it's confusing.
Oh, yeah.
But hey, look, we love a good juice bar show name.
I know.
Brainstorm.
Brainstorm.
You got any juice for us? Updates?
I just got back from New York.
Yes.
Another traveling experience. Went there for a bachelorette trip,
Batchy P.
which is my like sister-in-law's bachelorette. It's Max's brother's new wifey. And it was really fun. I was a little bit nervous going because, I had met her friends briefly at the wedding. So everyone's confused about this, but basically they are getting married. Her family is from the south of France. And so they're getting married there in September. And that was always the original plan. But like legally, they had to get married in Vegas. I might have already said this, but I'm saying it again.
Yeah.
So they already legally got married. So they technically are married.
Right.
But then they had their bachelorette and they just did things like in a different order. So anywho, so I didn't know her friends too well. And so I was just like a little nervous going into it, but it ended up being super fun.
That's so cute.
Such a good time. I loved getting to know them. I got to know my sister-in-law a little bit more, like bonded with her. And I'm super excited for the wedding. Like that's what's always fun about having these events before the wedding is that like you then know more people when you go.
Yes. Oh, that makes it so much better.
It really does. But yeah, New York I just don't know how you lived there for so long.
I know.
It's just so hectic.
That's a lot.
The hustle and bustle is just like too much. And I mean, I understand like car payments and stuff are like a lot and like having a car is like a responsibility and gas and insurance and blah, blah. But just like the amount of Ubers that we had to take because like, especially going out at night, like in our little dresses, like it's not like we're trying to be on the subway. Like during the day, we took the subway, of course. But like, my God, it just feels like, I don't know, things aren't like in your control as much. Like, I feel like that's why I like having a car just because I can like leave whenever I want to. I don't have to like catch a specific train.
Catch a specific train?
Like,
because you were in Jersey?
Well, at one point, yeah, I was.
Yeah.
And like to then, like I ended up just Ubering to the airport the last day because I was like, I just feel like I'll be stressed taking the train to the airport. Like I took it on the way there because I wasn't trying to like, catch a flight. And the Uber was like $100 to get to Newark.
Yeah, it's heinous.
It's all just so expensive and just like, I don't know. It's like, did you like living there? I mean, you were there a while.
I like parts of it. I mean, I think the downside of New York, it's kind of like skiing. It's like you can really go and just get so burned.
Yeah.
But then if everything's hitting right, like let's just say like, actually I remember one time I did this. We did a staycation in Little Italy. And it was just like 2 nights. And
in New York?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And we literally just walked every day to every meal and just went out constantly. Never got on a single train. Never took a single Uber.
Yeah, that's nice.
Like where can you really do that here? You can't.
Yeah.
You can't. There's like some mid neighborhoods, Silver Lake. It's like, yeah, it's like one street. It's like a joke.
Yeah, true. I mean, you
Kinney
could definitely like do that in Venice. You could have a staycation in Venice and not ever have to get in your car.
I know, but like in terms of walking around, it's not really comparable. There's like a couple of good streets. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can kind of hit them. There's like 3 like pretty main streets.
Exactly. 3.
Oh, Little Italy has a lot more.
You can just walk any direction in New York and you'll just hit cool neighborhood, cool area. Like,
yeah.
God, from Little Italy, you could walk like 2 miles and be in 5 different neighborhoods, all of which have their own thing. Like, it's just so sick.
I feel like back in the day, like I remember when I used to go like 10 years ago and visit my New York friends and stuff, like I feel like we used to take the subway at night a lot more. Like it just feels like that's like different now. It feels like Ubers are such a thing and traffic is even worse getting around there than it is getting around here. Like it would took a half an hour to get 2 miles.
I mean, it's pretty, there's really no reason. I don't know. I thought, were you saying you ran like high heels? Like who told you not to take the subway?
I don't know. We just weren't taking them at night. And then Max was like, don't take it at night. Like when you're going home alone kind of thing.
I mean, the subway is pretty freaking safe.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I felt just way more sketched out in LA than I ever did in New York.
Oh,
I know
really?
it's different for a woman, but
interesting.
Oh my God, yes. Walking around, because I think there's so many people in New York, like there's always someone there.
Right, that's true.
Whereas in LA, like, oh my God, even Echo Park, I'll be walking alone on the street. I'm like, if someone mugged me right now, like it's me versus them. And that's it, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I guess I'm just like comfortable here and like I just feel, I mean, there's definitely times where I'm like, I need to be on alert. I didn't necessarily feel unsafe. I think it was just more of like I guess we don't take subways at night anymore. And like, Jesus, this is getting expensive. But maybe it was just because we were there for like a specific event. We were kind of going all out.
I really do think it's kind of like skiing. Like if you don't know the mountain, you could just like get on a catwalk and now you have to walk. You're like, why is this the worst thing ever? Why would anyone do this? And like, it has a magic to it, but yeah, if things don't line up, it can get hell really fast. Expensive hell instantly. Totally.
Which, I mean, it wasn't by any means. Like there wasn't any hell about it at all. It was just like, I just don't personally ever want to live there. I like visiting. I do. If it was a dream gig, of course I would want to go, or I think it would be fun to spend like a few months there.
Yeah.
Like, you know, do a little part-time thing because I do really love it. But there are times where, when things don't line up, I'm just like, ugh. Like when I was getting in from my long flight and I'd take the train, I was just like, oh, everything's just so dirty. And it's like,
I've only heard this from one person, but this old friend of mine was like, it still isn't back to how it was pre-COVID. I mean, a lot of people left, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
If Danny Vega left, a lot of Cubans.
They were like, Danny's leaving, I'm out. I am out. I guess maybe that's what it was. It felt different than the way it used to be.
It definitely, I mean, honestly, I feel like New York has always been like absurdly expensive and like, it's probably got.
Well, I think that's what I was always jealous of New York was like how easy it was to get around. But I guess maybe I was just like, oh, we're Ubering anyway. This is what we do in LA.
Yeah, it's unusual though. I would say that's a classic beginner mistake is thinking the Uber is better. The Uber is rarely the better choice.
I know. I'm like, this is going to take it's almost like less time to take the subway.
Yeah, it usually is.
Yeah. And way cheaper.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, that was just like my observation. Like if I wanted to live there kind of thing, like we had an amazing time. I have no complaints about the weekend at all. But it was super fun.
I love that.
Yeah.
Nice.
New York.
Well, I'm happy you had a good time. And guys, thank you so much for listening.
Thank you.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Oh.
Bye. Okay, we gotta go again. That was too bad. Okay. You ready? All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Bye. Oh, wow. Wow. Oh, yeah. That was our worst.